that was my transformation time. No, only joking, but let's come back when I look like I should have actually won the competition. Hello from a more glamorous side of Julianne. As you can tell, I am wearing my sash and my crown, which obviously can't really get into the camera, but I'm not going to wear this throughout the whole video. So this is it here. How beautiful is it? So we are just going to get straight in, get through the talking experience of my pageant experience, and then at the end I will answer some questions. So obviously, as I haven't said already, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming and watching another video. This one is going to be a bit different. A lot of people don't really know about pageants, or they have like a different perception of them, so I want this video to clear all that up and just answer any questions that you may have. So if you want to keep finding out more about pageants and my pageant experience, then continue watching. Okay, so these videos are always sort of hard to know how to start or where to start, so I'm just going to go right from the beginning, talk about my very ever first pageant and how I get into them, and then we'll just go on from there. So how I got into pageants was my sister. So my sister Kira had entered a few pageants herself. So she had done a couple of different pageants. So I was always sort of watching her do them, experiencing her go through them. Now obviously at the time I was really young, because there's 8 years of a difference between us. I was really young at the time, but I always remember watching and going, you know, I love the look of that. So then I came to, it was 5 years ago, so I was 18, and I competed in Miss Belfast. So that was for Miss Ireland. So if you had won this competition, then you would have went on to Miss World Ireland, and if you won the Miss Ireland title, then you went on to represent Ireland in Miss World. So at the Miss Belfast competition, I placed top 7, and that was my very first pageant. Like, I had never had any personal experience with a pageant myself. I didn't know what I was in for. Like, I didn't know about any of the questions. Like, obviously I had Kira to help mentor me, but I just didn't know anything about it. So I was sort of you know, a bit oblivious as to what you would be doing, and like I'd never done like a catwalk or anything like that, so it was all really totally new to me. But I done it anyway, placed top 7, was really proud of myself. I'll place a photo up on the screen because it actually came up in my memories on Facebook that it was about 5 years to the day since I competed in that pageant. So I'll put a photo somewhere up on the screen of me competing in it. So that was fine. That was in 2015 then. Come 2016, I would say I applied for Miss Earth Northern Ireland, probably I would say late 2015, so after I had my first pageant experience, and then I hadn't heard anything back, and I think it was around March time I got an email from the Miss Earth Northern Ireland director, and they had basically just said that they would like to ask me to go to almost like a casting, which was in Derry. So I went up to Derry for the day. My mum and daddy brought me up, and then I got word that I was becoming a finalist. So I was the very first finalist announced. In my year of Miss Earth Northern Ireland, I think there was probably, I want to say like 10 or 11 of us in contestants wise, so there wasn't really that many. You know, it wasn't like already like many contestants, so we were all pretty close in terms of a group. So that was fine, done all our pre-pageant activities, and then we went up. The final was on a Sunday, and we went up, and I'm pretty sure it was the 17th of July in 2016. So went up to the final. I was the first contestant, so I was number 1 in terms of who went out on stage, who done an interview, and I was so nervous, like, because Miss Belfast was nothing like this. Like, you know, you just went for the one day, done the pageant, didn't have no pre-interview, nothing like that. You had like one question when you were on stage, and that was it for the top 7. Like, that was it. There was nothing. So I was so new to this, and I like just didn't know what to do. And I remember on the way up to Derry, like my mummy, daddy, Kira, Debbie couldn't come, Debbie's my other sister, she couldn't come, and then my 2 best friends, Rachel and Colleen, had come up as well. So I remember when we were travelling up, and I was in the back of the car, and I was saying to Kira, like, please just ask me some questions, you know, I don't really know. I say a lot and like a lot, so I was saying, please just ask me the questions so I can practice not saying these. So got up anyway, was in the middle of getting my makeup done, and they had called me for my interview. And I think on the judging panel there was maybe between 6 to 8 judges. So it was like that side of it sort of a blur to me, but I remember just going into the room and they made me feel so at ease. Like, it wasn't like you were in an interview, it was like you were having a conversation. So I remember coming out and ringing like my family and being like, look, you know, it wasn't really overly bad, like I don't know what I was worrying about, and that was fine. So then we all got prepared for the night. Now, a lot of people could get sponsors for like dresses and like things like that, but I rented a dress for the Miss Earth Northern Ireland final, and I rented it from Jacqueline Donnell at Absolute Glamour Formals. I'll put a picture up of the dress. Honestly, it's probably my favourite dress I've ever wore. It was just so beautiful. Actually, I can't even choose because Jacqueline's dresses are just amazing, but that dress is obviously really special to me for the reason of winning. So we had to create our own eco slogan. So mine was no, how can I get that wrong? Like, how can I actually get that wrong? Mine was change like it matters, appreciate the earth, and that is an acronym for climate. So I was focusing on climate change. So done the bikini round, done the evening gown round, and then after that you had to do an on-stage question. Behind stage then they done like sort of pre-awards. So there was like one for like Miss Congeniality, there was one for best in interview, best hair, best in evening gown, like there was all these sort of questions, so, or sorry, awards. So I won best in hair, and went up to get that award, and then we were all backstage. So it was in the City Hotel in Derry, the final, and we were all backstage. So they called Face of the World first, and then they got on to the actual top 4. So they called fire first, then they called water, then they called air, and then the remaining girls were standing backstage. We were all turned around in a circle, and then they called the Miss Earth and Northern Ireland winner 2016 heading to the Philippines in September and then they called Julianne McStrav. And as I say, I'll try and get the clip in. I could not believe it. Like, I was just completely shocked, and still to this day, like, it's coming up to 4 years, still to this day I cry watching that video, and my mummy cries. My friend actually sent me a photo of herself crying the other night because she watched it. Like, I could not breathe. Like, in the video I literally cry my eyes out. Like, no one, like anyone who you would ask would tell you how bad I was. Like, I could not believe it. Right, so after I won, it was all a complete whirlwind. Like, I was crowned on the 17th of July, and initially I was supposed to be going in the September, so that would have only left me with 2 months to prepare and get like my evening gown sorted, like everything that you needed. Like, I was sent a list of stuff that I needed in terms of like clothes, how many like dresses I needed, and like, if anyone knows how expensive dresses can be, it is ridiculous. So I just didn't like know how I was supposed to do all this. I was like so shell shocked, but I was so excited. I was like, I can't believe I'm getting this experience, you know. I feel so grateful, and like my mummy and daddy, they were saying they like, you know, they were so happy that I won, but at the same time, like, they were really scared because at the time I was only 19. So like, you know, like, our baby girl, like, I'm the baby in my family, and they were like, our baby girl, like, she's gonna be going out here by herself, and like all this and blah blah blah. So it was fine anyway. Then I got pushed back that I wasn't leaving until the start of October, so I was like, give me more time, and that was fine. So prepared myself, got all my dresses, and as I said before, I had rented a dress for the Miss Earth Northern Ireland final. Now, sorry, my watch keeps coming off. So the way I done it was, obviously I rented the dress, but the girl who I had got it off, as I said before, Jacqueline Donnell, Absolute Glamour Formals, she's based in Bangor. I went to her and I asked her to sponsor me for the dress. So basically what I would have done was I would have borrowed a dress off Jacqueline, wore it, and then obviously give it back. So she was like, of course, no problem at all. Like, Jacqueline is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and if anyone is in Northern Ireland and needs like a dress for like a formal, or if they want to do a pageant, or say they maybe have like a university formal, or like an event that they need to go to and you need like a long evening gown for it, please go to Jacqueline, because honestly she is unbelievable. So got my dress sponsored off Jacqueline. I needed like a real like standout dress, like really really sparkly. The one that I wore, which you would have saw from the photo, like the black one, it was just plain black, but at the sides it had a cutout and it was all sequins and like sparkles at the side, so it was plain but there was something extra. So got my dress sorted, done everything I needed to, was really really organised, and my flights went from Belfast City to Birmingham, then Birmingham to Dubai, and Dubai to the Philippines. That was my travelling. So it worked out that I was travelling for over 24 hours by myself at 19. I had never travelled before. Right, okay, sorry. Had a wee phone call there. Anyway, so yes, so it worked out that I was travelling for 24 hours at 19 by myself. I had never travelled anywhere by myself before. Like, when I say by myself, like, I don't mean like I had someone there as company. Like, I mean I was completely by myself, like no one that I knew. So the flight from Birmingham to Dubai, or yeah, the flight from Birmingham to Dubai, let's just say it was interesting. Oh god, this is one of my most embarrassing things ever. Right, okay, so basically I got on the flight, I was fine. Staff on Emirates, we flew with Emirates, they were unbelievable, like so good. They took my dresses for me, they hung them up, like everyone was so helpful. So that was fine. Got on the flight, got dinner, and I remember the dinner was mashed potatoes with chicken and some pepper sauce. So I ate the chicken. I'm so fussy with mashed potatoes. I can't eat them unless, now this is so bad, but I can't eat mashed potatoes unless they're Marks and Spencer's creamy mash, because they're the only ones that don't have bits in it. And if I found a lump of mashed potatoes, I think I would physically be sick. So anyway, disclaimer, that was not the reason, because I didn't touch the mashed potatoes. You'll find out what I'm talking about. Ate the chicken, had the dinner, it was fine. And I remember I was sitting beside these two elderly ladies. So I woke up, I had fell asleep after dinner. I woke up and I was like, I really don't feel well. And the wee woman beside me was like, look, I'm really sorry love, but I have arthritis in my back and I need to go to the toilet, so can you get up so I can get out? And I was like, look, I'm really sorry, but if I move I'm gonna be sick everywhere. And she was like, oh, I won't be able to get over you now. And I was like, no, please, like, would you press the button or something, like I'm gonna be sick. Also, another hint for if anyone doesn't know me is the fact that I have a severe phobia of being sick. I have a phobia of being sick, I have a phobia of people being sick around me, I have a phobia of hearing people be sick, seeing people be sick. Like, no matter what, my heart will go 100 miles per hour. Like, I am so bad with it. So I was like, please press the button. So next minute the air hostess came down with a bag, and I was projectile vomiting into this bag, and everyone around me was just looking, and I was going like, I'm so embarrassed, and I just kept being sick, and I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and she was like, are you okay? And like I was like, look, I really don't know what's wrong with me and all. And they went and they got me some water, and I was like, look, I might just be tired, like, you know, I'm traveling and stuff, like, you know, I might just be tired, it might be nerves, like I'm not too sure. So there was a girl sitting next to me, so there was a row of 3, a row of 4, and then a row of 3. So there was a girl on her own in the next row, and she was like, do you want to like take this row and lie down? And I was like, are you sure? Like that would be absolutely amazing, you know, like that would really help me out. I think if I just lay down and like got a good sleep, like I would be fine. So the girl was like, no, don't worry. And there was like spare rows of 4 anyway at the back. They just didn't want me to like walk because they knew how ill I was. So I went and I lay down in the row of 4, and I had a sleep, and I literally slept the whole rest of the plane journey. So I woke up, their hostesses came to check on me, and they were like, how are you feeling? Do you want any like Mars bars, or you know, do you want anything sweet? You might be lacking energy, and you know, after everything. And I was like, no, I honestly, I don't even think I could eat anything else, but thank you. So they got me some more water, ice water, and that was fine. So the girl said, look, you're going to need to sit up and put your seatbelt on, we're ready for landing. So that was fine. I was like, do you know what, I actually think I feel okay. And then obviously, you know, like when they prepare you for landing, it's another like at least like 10-15 minutes before they actually land the plane. So this rush of sickness came for me again, and I was like, I can't move. Like I actually can't move. So I put the belt on, and I like sort of tried to lean on my hand. And their hostess came down, and she was like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? And all. And I was like, look, I feel really ill again. She was like, okay, right, just keep your seatbelt on, you can lie down. So I lay down, and I was lying there and landed the plane, and I was like, I can't move. Like I actually can't move. And when I got to Dubai, I was literally like needing to go through that airport. Dubai airport is massive. I was needing to go through that airport and get straight on my plane to the Philippines. Like there was no in between. And I was landing on this plane, and I was going, I can't move. Like I actually can't move, otherwise I feel like I'm going to be sick. And I started panicking. It got that bad that the whole plane was off, all the air hostesses were around me, and the pilot came down. I was so embarrassed. I was like, please, like I am so sorry like about this, you know, I just don't know what's wrong with me. So the pilot was like, look, we're going to need to send you to the airport hospital, like to get bloods or whatever. Like, you know, we might think that your sugar levels are low, you know, you're lacking in energy. And I was like, look, I have a connecting flight to be on, like, you know, I need to just get myself up. So anyway, they called an ambulance, paramedics, and I was carried off the plane in a stretcher. It's so embarrassing. So I was carried off the plane in a stretcher. They put me into the back of the ambulance, brought me into the doctors, and I was like, basically the people in the paramedics were like, look, you're going to need to pretend that you're okay, otherwise this doctor will not let you on your next flight. And I was like, I can't be stranded in Dubai by myself. So he gave me an anti-sickness tablet. He checked everything, and he was like, look, everything's fine. I think you might just be running low on energy, maybe all the traveling, like it's, you know, maybe your travel sickness or whatever, and like you're just not feeling the best. And I was like, right, yeah, like, you know, that's fine, hopefully this tablet helps. So he says, like, when you get to your flight, basically just say to them that you're not well, and ask them, can you have like another row if there's any available, and then they can let you lie down. So that was fine. The paramedics then, they brought me up to this certain floor, and they were like, yeah, your terminal's just down there. It was not just down there. I was running with a mini suitcase, a handbag, a dress bag, and like all this stuff. And in the meantime, because it was such a long haul flight, I always wear our flight socks, because like I don't want my feet swelling up and like blood clots and all that. Like I really worry about things like that. So I was wearing my flight socks, which I couldn't have took off or changed because I was on the plane and then carried off in a stretcher. So I was running through Dubai airport with this wee cloth jumpsuit on, flight socks, and no shoes, and I was holding my wedges in my hand. I was like, this is so embarrassing. So anyway, eventually got to my flight. They were like doing a final call, so I was sprinting through Dubai airport, got to my flight, and I was supposed to be meeting Miss Wales, Charlotte. I was supposed to be meeting her in the Dubai airport. But of course she was worried sick. She was ringing me, trying to find out where I was. I had never met her before, but obviously we had each other's numbers, me, her in England, because we were the representatives of UK going over. So she had tried ringing me, there was no answer, and I texted her and I says, look, I just had a bit of like a thing, I'm on my way, blah blah blah. So I got on the flight, asked their hostesses, and right enough they gave me a row of 4. They were so good. And Charlotte came down, she checked on me, I told her everything that happened, and like she was brilliant, like she really took care of me. So I basically slept for that next whole flight, and our hostesses came over, and it was so cute. They took like a wee Polaroid picture with Emirates on the bottom of me and Charlotte for us each to keep, which I thought was so nice, because obviously they knew like we were going to a pageant and things like that. It was so lovely. So landed in the Philippines. I was fine. I was just so tired, and I don't even know how, because I slept like both of them flights, but I was so tired. I got into bed, it was fine. Woke up the next morning and was like, right, I'm ready to go. This is my first day here and blah blah blah. So I put on my makeup, was getting ready, and the next minute the rush of sickness came over me again, and I was like I can't be coping. So then I rang Justine, and she basically was like, right, I'm going to contact your team managers. And Justine, I was telling her, and I was like, Justine, I think I'm going to be sick. And she's like, it's okay, don't worry, just keep me on speaker, you know, go on ahead, like I'll stay with you. And God love her, like she literally stayed with me while I was vomiting down the toilet on speaker. She was so good. So anyway, team manager come up, they give me a tablet, anti-sickness tablet, and I sent it to Justine obviously before I had took it. And they were like, right, just try and sleep, don't worry about coming to the activities, because if you missed an activity, like you could have got points deducted off you. So each team managers had a total of 5 points to give towards the end score and obviously your placement. So I didn't want to lose any points on my first day for not being able to turn up, but they genuinely knew I was sick, so it was fine. I literally slept for like majority of the day, and it must have came to about 3 or 4 p.m. obviously in like Philippines time, Manila time, and they were like, right, do you want to get ready and we'll go down and we can try? And I was like, yeah. So I got ready, went down to like an orientation, so that's like basically like an introduction into the pageant, what's going to happen. And I was really raging because the first day that I arrived, like everyone was doing their photo shoots around the hotel, and I didn't get to participate because obviously I was just too sick. But we done the orientation, had wee mini pizzas, like, you know, like wee tiny 7-inch pizzas, and I literally devoured it. Like I was, because I've been sick so much, I just like really enjoyed it. So after that was completely fine. Like I mean, the rest of my 3.5 weeks in that in the Philippines, wasn't sick at all. So that was the traumatic bit. Okay, so all the days passed. We went to Carousel Mansion on one of the days, where we walked up, said our country, said our eco slogan, which obviously mine was changed like a matter to appreciate the earth. I now remember it. And yes, we done all that. We had different competitions like each day. So we done like a press presentation where it was every single girl walked out, said their eco slogan, said their name, and done like a catwalk. And then the press who were there basically chose a winner. So that was fine. We had got our sashes, so I have my sash here. So this is it. There's our Miss Earth slogan, and then on the back it says recycle, which obviously is back to front on the camera, but it each had like one of the 5 R's on the back of your sash. So all got our sashes, everything was great, and we done all our different competitions. So the way you had your different types of stages throughout the competition of Miss Earth Northern Ireland, you done that on Miss Earth as well. We got to our resort wear competition. Now this was one of the nights where I mean I was so tired. Like throughout the whole pageant experience, like I wasn't suffering from jet lag, like I wasn't tired, I wasn't like yeah, I just didn't really complain about anything. Like I was just really enjoying my time there. I was really sick, so obviously I was sick with vomiting. Then I got a really bad stage where I lost my voice, but that was purely for the fact that one night we had a party with like guests from the hotel, and I was up singing karaoke, so that was my own fault. But it just shows you that it's not all serious. Like there is fun to be had, and that night was really fun because you don't have to worry about putting on this front or, you know, not being yourself. You can just completely be yourself, and it was really good. And they were handing us out like drink and stuff, like, you know, alcohol, and I wouldn't touch any of it because I just didn't want to. But yeah, like it was so relaxed and things like that, so that was fine. So as I say, I wasn't really complaining about anything. I just enjoyed my time, and I literally took in every single experience that I had because I thought I'm never going to get to do this again, so just live it all and enjoy it and everything. So there was one night and I was so tired, like honestly. We got to this place where we were doing our resort wear competition, and we had to get ready outside. Like there was no place, like nowhere actually inside for us to get ready, so it was all open plan and it was all outside, and we were getting ready and it was actually pitch black outside, and I was like, how are you even supposed to do your makeup in this, like, you know? But continued on, got ready, and when we were doing our resource wear competition, I'll never forget it, the stage was a floating stage on a lake. So it was like not actual like hard ground, it was a floating cardboard thing on a lake, and I was like, you know, this day it's just so hard, and like, you know, I was really struggling. But anyway, done the resort wear competition and we were all on stage. They always announced for each of the competitions, they always announced a gold, silver and a bronze. So, and then they would have done like a sponsor title. So say like one of them was like, say Miss Richmond Centre, for example, like it was sort of things like that. So they done the gold, silver and bronze, and then they confirmed like the sponsor titles. So I actually won one, and I won Miss Prado Diaz. So I got like a wee sash, and I got like a bag full of goodies because one of the sponsors chose me as their winner. So I was like, this is great. So then I thought we were going back to the hotel, and you know, because you'd been off from like say 4 o'clock that morning, and then this was at like 11 o'clock at night. So, you know, it was hard, and I was like, right, okay, I'll go back to the hotel and all, I got a nice sleep and blah blah blah. And then the next one, our team managers were like, right, change of plan, we are going to do a fashion show in Sorsogon. And I was like, what? Like it's 11 o'clock at night and we have to do a fashion show, like what's going on? So we got there, that was fine, and we hadn't ate like at this stage, so I was absolutely starving. Like I love my food, and I was absolutely starving. And we got there and they handed us like this food, which you know, it was lovely, but I just didn't like it myself. So I was like, right, okay, like, you know, when you were at the hotel, you could order room service, now obviously you had to pay for it yourself, but everything else was like paid for, and like you didn't pay for any of your food or anything if you were going to a restaurant. So I was starving, and I was just so warm, and oh, it wasn't really a good day. Obviously winning the title, I was so grateful for it, like it brightened my day. When I found out I had to go here, I was just like, I'm so tired. So got ready, got into the dresses, and it was a sponsor, so we were wearing the sponsor's dresses. So got on stage, and I never forget it, like they were saying about taking care of the dresses, but we were standing in a wet mucky like field almost out the back, because it was all open plan, that like there was just loads of spotlights, and the actual fashion show was outside itself. So I remember I was wearing like my good suede like heels, which I brought with me, my nude heels. So they were digging into the ground and they were getting all mucky, and I was like, how am I even supposed to clean these, because they were my main shoes for like all pageant competitions and stuff, you know. So it was really hard. So done the whole fashion show, that was fine. And then there was winners of that. So there was like sponsor winners and things like that, and they were calling all the people out, and then I won best in long gown, and I was like, this going from being like a really hard day and like me struggling, it's been amazing. So that was unbelievable. But yeah, so there was this one time and they had said, right, okay, so Northern Ireland, Switzerland and Reunion Island, you need to come down. We're inviting you to a wine tasting ceremony. And I was like, look, you know, I don't, to be honest, I don't actually drink wine. Certainly, of course, like I will come, like no problem at all. But you know, would you want to maybe offer it to someone who would, you know, enjoy the wine? And they were like, no, it's not for the wine. You know, we need people who speak French. And I was like, I don't speak French. So it was a French wine tasting ceremony, and I was like, I don't speak French. And obviously Switzerland and Reunion Island did, but I didn't. So that was fine. Went to the wine tasting ceremony and they were like trying like swiveling the wine and smelling it and or whatever, and like saying to us, you know, what do you taste, like more fruit? Do you taste like, you know? And to be honest, I couldn't taste no difference. It was terrible. And they were all just laughing at me, but I just couldn't taste no difference. Like, but it was really, really good fun. I was actually really glad I went. And then we went to like all different islands. It was like honestly amazing. Like we had went to dance rehearsals in G-Force, and honestly that team was amazing. Like on our final night of rehearsals, I think we went for probably about 3 days for the rehearsals for the opening number. And on the final day they had a thing where like they went into the middle and they were like dancing to the songs, and they were doing like backflips, and it was honestly unbelievable. And then like some countries were getting into the middle and like dancing themselves. So like some people were doing contemporary, some people were like, you know, like maybe doing gymnastics and things like this. And Miss Mongolia, she was a contortionist, and she got in the middle and she started doing like all of her like stuff, like I don't even know what you call it. And then I was like doing Irish dancing, so it was so nice like to have everyone, and it was just such an amazing feeling. Like I'll never forget it. By the way, sorry, I just missed out a really important bit. Interview. Right, let me go back. Okay. So our interview was held in the Diamond Hotel in the Philippines, and it went by continent. So it went by like Asia, Africa, Europe, the Americas, like things like this. So our group was the last group. Europe was the last group. And with being Northern Ireland, like I was like near the bottom. And I remember everyone was doing their interviews, and like one of the girls came out crying, and I was like, oh my god, this is so scary. So like the judging panel, there was like 12 judges or something on it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so scary. Like, what do you do? So I remember clearly as day, I literally listened to Steve Jobs. Seriously, that's just fail. Listened to Steve Jobs' motivational speech, and I mean, I must have re-listened to that about 10 times, over and over and over again. And it was all just like, you know, if you fail, you just get back up and blah blah blah. And like it was so empowering. They called me in for my interview, and you had to go in and like you just had to start talking because you only had 2.5 minutes. So I just started talking, and I was talking and talking and talking, and then I went, so I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna actually let you ask me a question if you would like. And they all just started looking, and I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like, have I answered all their questions, or they just not want to know anymore? Like, what do you do? So I remember the green man, Matthias, he had asked me the question, and he had commented on me doing so much work with my high school in regards to like environmental stuff and like promoting Miss Earth and things like that, and he had commented on that. So interview was done, felt okay about it, that was fine. Came to the final night, got ready, everything was great, and went on the stage, done our opening number. And I remember when we were backstage, after the opening number, like once we were done, we come back on stage and all the countries were there, and literally it was just straight on top 16. And I remember when I was backstage, my team leaders came over to me and they were like, where's your stuff? Like, where's your dress? And like, where's your stuff? And I was like, oh, maybe booths, blah blah blah. And I told them, and they're like, oh right. But I didn't think anything of it. I thought they were just knowing where everyone's stuff was, so that when they found out who the top 16 were, they were just going to grab their stuff and get it all ready for them, literally just because it was so fast paced. So we were on stage, and I was directly behind the presenters. Like literally there was a presenter's head, and then there was like me up here, like somewhere. And I remember they called Colombia, they called South Korea, and then they called Northern Ireland. And I was like, my face literally just dropped, and I'll put a picture up because it's so funny. Like, everyone laughs at my faces when I am shocked. So I come down, was not expecting it whatsoever, and I was really trying not to cry. I was like, Julianne, please don't cry, please don't cry, because I knew how bad my video was from when I won Miss Earth Northern Ireland. So I come down and I hugged Columbia. She was standing beside me, and because it went like 1 2 1 2 1 2, and I went like that. So I hugged her, called the whole top 16 out, and then I went back and I was talking to my team leader, and I was like, oh my god, and I was like crying, and she was like, Julianne, don't, you're going to ruin your makeup, don't, we have to get you ready, have to get your bikini on. So then you had to do a bikini round for the top 16 and an evening gown round, and then they called top 8, and then they called top 4, and then obviously the winner. So the winner our year was Ecuador. And honestly, I mean, I went home on cloud nine. Like, I actually cried leaving the Philippines. Like, that's how much I loved it. So got back, all my family were so excited to see me. I come home and it was just amazing. Like, it was such a proud, like, and like such a great achievement. Like, I was so proud of myself, and I was like, do you know what, like, I done so well. Like, so yeah, that was my that was my Miss Earth experience. So hold on, I need to go because I'm just gonna burst out laughing. Okay, compose yourself, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Oh, okay, take two. 2017, I competed in Miss Universe Ireland. So Miss Universe Ireland was that was the first year that Brittany Mason took it over, and honestly, she's done so well with it. Like, really, really good. The girls that have won are absolutely amazing. So yeah, so 2017 I competed in Miss Universe Ireland. Now that pageant was a real learning curve for me personally. It was sort of different to Miss Earth in the terms of, like, that year there was only, say, one day of a photo shoot, and that was it. Like, there was sort of an introductory day before you were even a finalist. They come down, they took headshots and things like that. Then the next time you went down, it would have been for a photo shoot, but I unfortunately couldn't get it off work because the day I was announced as a finalist, I think it was like 2 days later that the photo shoot was needed, and because at the time I was working 9 to 5, like, I couldn't have got down. So then the only other time that we were down was literally for the final, and down for the interview. And honestly, my interview, I came out crying. Like, it was ridiculous. It was so hard. I had thought I prepared myself, but it was almost like when other girls were coming out, they were saying, oh, I was only asked, like, 3 questions and all this. I feel like I was asked about 10, and it was just like boom boom boom, like question, and I feel like because I had maybe won one before, like, there was more pressure for me on myself. So when I went in, like, one of the questions was, well, you've already competed before, so why would you want to do another one? I was like, I've done my interview, come out crying, was really unhappy. And then the final night came, and we had done an introduction, so you had to come down, you had to say your name and your where you were representing. So I was Miss Belfast, so said Julianne McStrav, representing Miss Belfast, and that was fine. And we were given dresses from Starla Boutique, so I was wearing the dress, and I remember just seeing one of the judges and looking like that, and I was like, and then I heard him, like, I saw him mouthing to another judge saying, look how short her dress is, but it wasn't my dress. I was given that dress, and I'm not going to cook up a fuss if the dress is too short. The sleeves were like up to here on me. I have really long arms. I'm 5'9", and my legs are like 34 inches. Like, I can't help if a dress is short. I was wearing black underwear. The dress was black, and I remember him saying that, and I was like, that's not fair, because you can't judge me on the dress that I'm wearing when I was given it. So anyway, then done our bikini wear, and then done our evening gown. They kept called the top 10. They whittled it down to top 10, and then they done obviously the top 5, and then they done the winner, which was obviously in the top 5. So I didn't make top 10. I was fine with that, to be honest. Colleen Anya Tobin, who won, was amazing. Like, genuinely, she was amazing. I said from the start that I thought she should have won, even when I was in it. Like, I said that I thought that she should have won, and my family will tell you that. I'm not a sore loser. Like, I really am not. Like, I'd be happy for people when they win things. Like, I'm not like that, and I hate girls that are, to be honest. I've experienced girls like stomping off stage, like when the top 2 girls are being announced, like their faces, like honestly, are like a big sour bake, and I just can't stand that. So I was really happy for her. That was fine. So 2018 passed, and then 2019, yes, so last year I entered again, because I don't let things stop me. Like, if I want something, I will go for it again. So I entered again, and I didn't even make the finalists. At the start, I thought, I was like really annoyed about it, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, do you know what, this just isn't meant for me. I thought personally that when I done it in 2017, I was nowhere near ready to compete in that pageant. Like, I didn't realise how different pageants could be until I done Miss Universe Ireland. When I didn't get through last year, I was like, do you know what, this just isn't meant for me. Like, it's not. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was just content. I was just like, do you know what, I'm actually really content with how far I've come, and Miss Earth is the one for me. So the girl who won last year, the Infinite O'Reilly, she was absolutely beautiful, and like, I congratulated them on the page. Like, I don't like be a sore loser. I don't hold a grudge or anything, because I want to support other girls rather than take it away from them. Like, I don't believe in that. So yeah, so that was my pageant experience in total. I feel really proud of how far I've come. When I was talking there about like people being sore losers and stuff, when I was at Miss Earth, like, a girl was actually crying and like throwing a huff because she didn't place top 8, but she got top 16, and I was like, you should feel so privileged that you got the top 16, because there's like, say, 70 other countries here that who haven't, and they're not complaining. They're just like, you know, congratulating other girls and being happy for them, and you're complaining that you didn't get top 8. Like, that's not me. And you know, I am really grateful for everything in terms of my experience. And even with the Miss Universe Ireland, you know, I'm grateful to have had that experience when I competed in 2017, because it taught me so much. And you know, I learned so much about myself and what, you know, what's for me, and like, I'm really grateful for that experience. So right, okay, so I have got my list of questions. Hold on, should have took a drink when I was on a break. Right, so I've got my list of questions. I tried choosing ones that aren't going to be the ones that I've already answered, because there's no point. So first one is, what pageant would you recommend? There's no way anyone can recommend a pageant for you. You need to research them yourself and choose which one is more suitable. Like, as I said before, Miss Earth is for me. I had and I still do. When I say I still do have a genuine care for the environment. I think it's becoming more and more of a, you know, a rising issue at the minute, and there is more awareness being created for it, but there's not enough. So that pageant is why it is for me. As I say, I done Miss Universe Ireland, and I realised it wasn't for me, but that's okay. But there's no way anyone can recommend for you what you need to choose for you. I would just suggest researching into them, finding out what you like about the pageant. You know, does their ethos stand for what you believe in? You know, like, basically just research and find out yourself if you want to do that pageant. When I was doing them, when I had came across Miss Earth, I had like looked into all the girls' journeys, and you know, I had researched it all, and I thought, you know, that looks so good, and it's for a good cause, you know, you're doing something for a good cause, so that's why I wanted to do it. A lot of pageants that you do, like that you see now and stuff, are raising so much money for like different charities, and if that's something that you're into, then definitely do that. That is what they're like standing is for. And then there's other pageants that may not go anywhere, so you need to research into that. So like they'll just do like a national pageant and they won't actually go internationally. So if you're wanting to do stuff like that, like really research into your pageants and see what one suits you personally. Okay, so next one then is there bitchiness? So this is a question that literally everyone asks. No, to be honest, not really. When I went to Miss Earth now, and saying that, when I placed top 16, and all the nights were over and stuff, after that was finished, I was there for an extra day after. And the day that I was there after, I found out that one of the countries, and I'm not going to say who, but one of the countries had said Northern Ireland took my spot in the top 16. You can't act like that. Do you know, that girl was very rude to our team managers. No doubt she got points deducted. To be honest, she was rude to them. But in terms of actual bitchiness, like in any of my experiences, like I haven't experienced it. I have heard of like girls going to a pageant and like other girls like ripping their dresses and stuff. If you're in a pageant like that, then don't even go to it. And if you hear any stories about it, because like, you know, them girls just aren't even worth being with. Like you wouldn't even want that. Like from my pageant experience, I gained so many friends, and like I'm so glad that I did, because like, you know, I had such good experiences, and I wouldn't want any other girl to experience anything else. So no, and in a whole, there isn't bitchiness, no. So one of the questions then is, how do you prepare for a pageant? To be honest, what I would say is do your research. A lot of girls will say, oh, you need to lose weight and you need to tone up, you need to do this. No, you don't. Like, if there's a pageant that is having you, like making you have a certain size requirement or like a shape requirement, why would you want to do it? Like, you know, if that's all they stand for, like pageants aren't just about looks. Like, this is what annoys me. People think they're just about looks. They are not. Like, they're about intelligence, and like I always say, like beauty comes from within. So if they're saying to you like you need to be a certain, like, okay, height requirement, like a lot of pageants last for that, but if they're saying that you need to be a certain size, like that's not right. You know, there was like a girl in Miss Universe one of the countries, and you know, she would have been more on the curvier side, and I absolutely loved that, because I was like, it's so inclusive, you know, there's no discrimination, and like it's actually really good. So preparing for a pageant, main points I would be do your research into it. You know, really prepare yourself in terms of like what you're like, what you want to stand for, and like what points you want to get across. And yeah, like that's all I really done. In terms of like preparing and stuff, like just make sure you're organized and you have everything sorted for if you like are competing in a pageant and you have one that you're going to compete in. Just make sure that you're really organized and you have everything set. That's what I done, and it worked for me. So yeah. Okay, so next one then was there anyone you didn't get along with? Sort of reflecting back to the bitchiness, but like no, to be honest, I got along with pretty much everyone. Obviously I had my closest people when I was away. So when I was away in the Philippines, like I grew really close to Miss Malta and Miss Guam. And like us three were just so close, like, you know, it was great. And I remember like one of the nights before the final, like I went up and Miss Malta asked me to dye her hair, so we were dyeing like her hair black, and like, you know, we just had such a good time. And I'll never forget, like this is one of the funny stories, like me, we were out at a restaurant and there was me, Australia, Guam, I'm not actually too sure who else was at our table, but we were all sitting at the table and we went out for dinner, and me and Miss Australia took this fit of laughing, and I mean like the tears were rolling down our faces, and she kept saying to me, would you please stop laughing because I can't eat my dinner, and it was just so funny. So I really got along with everyone, and although we were broken into 3 groups, like there was one time where Miss USA had to come into our group, and from when she came into our group, like I became really, really close to her, and like still now and stuff, you know, like we would like say hello to each other, whatever, or comment under each other's posts, and you know, she would have been one of my close friends as well, and it's just so nice to know that you have friends from different countries now, and like, you know, who you can still talk to and get along with. So to be honest, no, there wasn't anyone that I didn't get along with. I'm a very easy person to get along with. Like I will literally talk to anyone. So that was like perfect for me. I really, really enjoyed that side of it, was meeting new people. Next question, would you compete again? Okay, so I answered this in my Q&A briefly, but again briefly, to be honest, I don't know. At the minute, I'm gonna say no, because as I said before, Miss Earth, I realise, is the one for me. If I was going to do another one, I would need to really research into it. I would need to find out like what sort of, you know, way the pageant works and things like that. And if I was going to do another one, I wouldn't do one that wouldn't go internationally. Like I would want to do another one that would go internationally. But in saying that, I really am happy with how far I've come. So at the minute, no, but I'm never going to say never. Okay, so I'll do this one and another one, and then I'll leave it because I know this video is already going to be too long. So next one then, what was the best thing about your pageant experience? Everything, like absolutely everything. Obviously, like the final thing that like was like the icing on cake was placing top 16, but genuinely like everything was amazing. Like I've had so many good experiences, and like really, really privileged for the experiences that I've had. So obviously like going to the Philippines, I was actually on a billboard for Richmond Centre, who was our title sponsor, as I said before. I'll put the photo up here. It is honestly like Jennifer Taylor, who created this, is a genius. Like my mummy loves this photo, and I remember I actually got it when I was away in the Philippines, and I just started crying because I was like, I can't believe I done that. Like that's me, you know. But genuinely, like I don't think I could choose one thing. Like everything was unbelievable, and I like that's one of the questions, and I'll just answer it here. Like I wouldn't change nothing. Like nothing about my experience would I change. I absolutely loved every single minute. And the only thing that I would change, which was a nightmare, we were out at Parrot Farm Beach Resort in the Philippines, and I brought my phone, whatever, obviously, was taking all pictures, and the memory was full, and all my photos from the first 10 days of that thing had wiped away. So the only thing that I would change would be having more memory on my phone, or switching my switching my memory card into my phone earlier. But that would be the only thing. Literally everything else was amazing. Like I couldn't change or fault anything. Okay, last one. What did you find hardest about competing? The pause is actually stating it for me. Like I don't know what I found hard. Maybe like sometimes the lack of sleep. Like as I said before, like you were up maybe at 4 o'clock in the morning because you had a photo shoot, or like a thing to go to at 6. But to be honest, I didn't even really complain about the sleep, apart from that one night that I mentioned, which actually turned out to be a really amazing night. Like I don't actually know if there was anything that I would find like hardest. I literally love the food every morning. Like literally, he broke my heart. We chef Mark, he was the chef, and I used to have HP brown sauce every morning with my breakfast. Now I come home and I lost weight. This is what I have for my breakfast. So I had eggs with bacon and toast. I had Nutella and croissants and fruit, and then some nuts. And all my eggs and like bacon and stuff, I always used to smother it in HP brown sauce. And Chef Mark every morning used to hide it from me, because like just as a joke, because he knew I wanted it. So yeah, like I don't actually know what I would find hard, because I really enjoyed every single minute. Okay, so I feel like I need to end the video with my crown on, because I never really get to wear it anymore, and it depresses me. So anyway, if you have got this far, you've watched the whole video, I really, really appreciate it. If you do like it and if you have enjoyed it, then hit the thumbs up. If you want to watch more videos, then come back for more, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.